All right, I Radio, Sharice Co. We're here too. We do every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. This is a special time. This is a cool show.
Yes.
Yes, give thanks, Queen Yin, for coming through or calling us via phone line, giving us the energy report. And then Stephanie giving us that update on some events going on at the I Am Ascension Temple. Just know that the temple is right above Tassili's, and it's just like jumping off. There's a lot of beautiful healing events going on up there. And we have DJ Naka, the ear doctor, on the ones and twos this time.
Right. Doing his thing.
Yeah. And so, where DJ Heat at?
In the building?
What? DJ Heat is producer extraordinaire right now. He got the video going. He done came up with the cameras and the whole pod style cast recording. We doing the dang thing. He's manning that, as well as we have DX also in the building doing what we do every time. And so, Misconceptions About Conception is our birthing segment, inspired by myself being pregnant with my last child 4 years ago, and really doing a lot of research about, everything to make sure that my experience will be better than my first one with my older child, because it just wasn't right, And so in my research, I was like finding so much information, it blew me away. I'm one of those people that research everything, and I know a lot of stuff already. So when I was like learning so much new things about this, it really blew me away in a way where I was like, okay, I got to share this on the radio. I have been on the radio for years already. And so it was just like, okay, so I did a segment called Misconceptions About Conception. I'm good at naming stuff. And it was like, yeah, this is good. So I just did a series for 1 month. I was 9 months pregnant at the time and everything. Every Friday for a month, we did all of these different experts, midwives, grand midwives, researchers out of Georgetown University. Ryan McAllister. He's on that circumcision documentary on Netflix. But yeah, so it was beautiful, and people were like, okay, when are you doing it again? It was like the response was so great. I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it monthly, and I've been doing it for 4 years and strong, and it's really got that much more stronger ever since Sakisa come on about over a year ago. And so she's a midwife herself, traditional midwife, author, the organizer of the doula network here in Atlanta. I mean, just a powerful sister that's deep into doing the work and just really serious about it. She's a genuine, authentic warrior when it comes to this particular movement. And so, definitely she's brought beautiful people to me like these two ladies we have today. Yes. Sakisa, let people know what Misconceptions About Conception's about.
Yes, my pleasure, sis. That's such a beautiful introduction. I don't even know how to come back from that one. A warrior in the birth community. I love it. I'm going to own that, though. I'm going to own it.
Yeah.
So on this platform right here that you have opened up to us in our birth community, we like to dispel the myths that's associated with birthing while Black, right? Not only here in the United States, but throughout the diaspora. Indeed. So today I do have two lovely sisters from the birth community. I have the gorgeous Tracey Collins from
They
National
both
Black.
are cute,
Right?
though.
Then they come in here just like, oh my goodness.
I love little cute, smart people.
Yes, powerful sisters. They are.
Yes.
Tracey is the founder of National Black Doulas Association. So National Black Doula Association. Got to take my time with that one. The first and the only, right? Because I don't think there's any other type of association like that, not for women of color. And I'm going to definitely let her dive in on that one. Then we also have the lovely Desiree Butler, the Pillow Talk of Birth. Now that right there, that's a warrior. She be slicing heads in the birth community, going hard. She's a real strong, powerful birth activist throughout this community. So I found these sisters. I linked with these sisters. Like minds do attract. And I am very grateful to have them here with us today to share their knowledge and their expertise within the work that they do. So if you will, please, sis. Bless the mic for us. Tracey.
Thank you, Sakisa. Such a wonderful introduction. My name is Tracey Collins. I'm the founder and the CEO of the National Black Doulas Association. I founded oh my God, today's our second birthday.
Look at
Literally.
that. Look at that.
It's our second birthday today,
Anniversary.
October 25th.
You just figured that out just now?
I literally just figured that out. See, that's what happens when you always in beast mode. You just keep going, you know? But today is our birthday. So congratulations to all of the National Black Doula Association members out there and our supporters. But in 2017, I founded the National Black Doulas Association because I wanted to provide a platform, a directory, and a resource where Black professionals in this field can be found.
Of course.
And you know, I've been in this field for 20 years, and it can be real isolating. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to perpetuate that kind of continued narrative when we're out here doing it on our own. But more so creating a community that is not divisive and not cutthroat, but more so you welcome home. Let me love on you. Let me teach you. Let me grow you. And so that's how the directory started. And then once people got a sense of my personality and we can't cuss, huh?
Not too much.
Okay.
Not
So
too big.
I'm not gonna give you all of Tracey, but once they got a taste.
Thanks
of
for asking. She was
The F-bomb.
about to go in on them.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
Right. I had to, before we're not gonna invade space. So once they got a sense of my personality, my background, and my knowledge, they really wanted me to teach. So now we have a full training platform and I'll train anybody, but the message is going to be the same. So you can't kill the messenger because the truth is the truth. So that's it. And we will be launching our trainers. So we'll have trainers in, multiple states throughout the country.
And these trainers are training exactly in what?
Their birth trainings, their birth, postpartum,
For doulas.
For anyone.
Or midwives.
For anyone, yes, who is interested in becoming a birth professional in this field.
Yeah. I love it.
So birth, postpartum, holistic fertility, placenta encapsulation. What else is out there? Y'all help me, because
Education?
No, we don't have CBE yet. We don't have childbirth education yet.
Lactation.
Not that one either.
Okay.
But we also have a sex doula training coming up that I'll be launching next year. And people are like, why sex doula? And that's the energy that binds it all. And if you aren't tackling the energy that binds it from preconception on out, then you are not tackling the whole woman. And I'm a traditionally midwife. I'm a traditional midwife, and we come from a holistic perspective. So we deal with the whole woman. So when you come to train with us, you are getting the foundation and the fundamentals of which I have stood on for 20 years.
No doubt. And I'm so glad you said that, Tracey, because a lot of times I have to remind people that, birth is a continuation of sex.
Yeah.
It is. You can't separate. It's the same sounds. It's the same juices.
sound.
It's the same. It's the same everything. So I tell folks, if you can't
It's the
see
same
in front of an audience,
It's the
then
same
don't think you can
juices.
birth, right? Don't think you can birth
It
in
is
front
the
of an
same.
audience, because people want to invite like this huge birthday party
They
to
do.
their
They do.
birth. And I'm like,
They
wait
do.
a minute. Did you conceive? I don't doubt, folks. It's 2019. Things
It
are
wasn't a
happening
party
in the
then.
age. But right, so
It was
if
a
you
party,
didn't
but it was
conceive
only
like
two
that-
people.
right? So keep the party as small as you did when you conceived this child. Is what I'm saying. I appreciate you sharing that, though, for real. Sex doula.
Sex doula. And if you
I
can,
love it.
And also because, I don't want to take away
Just go,
from her
go,
time,
go.
but if one of the things that shows up, thank you, girl. See, I forgot about them people. Sorry, y'all, over here. But what we see in the birth world, and I know, Sakisa, you can speak to this as well, that there is a lot of disconnection with your body during the birthing process.
Right.
And if you are
pregnancy process.
in the pregnancy process,
Yeah.
the birthing process, and also the postpartum process, and if you are detached from your physical being,
Right.
you can't be attached to anything else effectively. And those are the things that we are going to be dispelling, and we're going to help reconnect women and with themselves when it comes to their body, and how to bridge these gaps, because I'm tired of gaps. Don't come to me and say I don't want to touch my vagina, girl. I can't, girl.
Right.
This is
yours.
it's yours. It's yours. So
Wow.
these are the things that we are going to be helping people to learn to support. I don't want to touch blood, or I don't want to touch my baby as the baby's
it's
crowning,
dirty.
or I don't want my partner to see me down down there. Ooh, I hate
Right.
down there. Like,
Right.
you know, those things that make you want to clench your pearls.
Yes.
You know?
I'm all up
you
in my neck
know,
already. I'm hot.
So
like,
we are going to, you know, so that's the one that, you know,
right?
that will be coming out
getting
next
real
year.
moody in here.
So it's a full training with the National Black Doulas Association. And my
love it.
model
I do.
personally is I'm going to teach you how to fish so you can forever eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what we really stand on. We're going to fix your crown behind the scenes because nobody has to know that I'm fixing my sister's crown as long as she's winning.
Shade, right?
dope.
Right? It
All
is.
right.
It is, yes. So please, Desiree, if you would.
So I come in after that?
I know, right? No,
I should have went first.
Take it.
It's all one thing,
Okay,
girl.
okay, let's flow. So my name is Desiree. I started the Pillow Talk of Birth this year.
That's perfect. Pillow
yeah.
talk of birth.
And so I called it the
Sex
Pillow Talk
doula.
of Birth specifically because nobody always thinks that sex is not a portion of birth talk. And everybody was like, do you know that that's kind of like, you know, my name, the Pillow Talk, is kind of like sassy
Sensual.
and sensual. And I said,
Right.
that's what I wanted, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, when you made that baby, was it, you know, sassy and sensual? Let's keep that same mood. And
Right,
let's talk
why not?
about, you know, what we got to talk about. And so for my business owner of the Pillow Talk of Birth, we do childbirth education. I'm really big on that because
doubt.
I believe that if you teach people to educate them, you teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I have been doing in the community is, Sakisa said, as an activist, just going around and just really just talking to the community and figuring out how we can get women of color to really take part of this conversation.
Right.
Because our voices collectively as a bigger unit are not being heard.
Right.
And that's one of the bigger issues that we are working for. It's like, you know, we're not being respected, nor are we using our voices to be respected.
Right.
So it's like she talks about those holes, and it's really working to fill those holes. And I started getting to birth work because I had went to FIU and I, you know, took pre-med and just taking all those classes and, you know, learning about the capability of the human body and coming from a huge family. I'm the youngest of 8. So I've seen some babies.
Wow.
I got over 21 nieces and nephews, so I've seen a plethora of how babies are born. And I was just so confused growing up because you see how babies are born in the captivated medical community, and then I would see these videos of these beautiful home births
Right,
that
right.
nobody looked like me.
Exactly.
And I'm like, whoa, you know, and then I'll hear these stories about, not about how the birth would progress, but about how you almost died.
Yeah.
And somebody saved you.
Sadly.
So we hear these savior stories, and it became a part of my conditioned life to the point where I'm like, well, I no longer can do birth. And so I wound up coming back to it, like, I have to come back to it. My sisters are crying out, and they don't even know they're crying out.
Right.
And so I started, you know, my Facebook page and Instagram and received so much, you know, hate at first because it could be shocking in the birth community to hear somebody that's saying something that doesn't match the propaganda that social media is portraying.
Right.
So then
Right.
it puts you in this position of you are at odds with everything that society is telling you is right. You're saying is wrong.
No
Or
doubt.
needs improvement. So that's how the Pillow Talk of Birth came, and that's how I became a huge part of it. And now I'm going to school to be a midwife because we need to have seats at these tables. And going to these events like the Maternal Mortality Committee here in the state of Georgia and to see the mockery of our representatives and of the culture of birth to be downplayed to that level when, you know, people of color are dying at 3 to 5 times the rate.
Right.
And
It's
to
white
just
women,
hear it
right.
kind of like just brushed over like it's just
Right.
It's
They
unacceptable.
gave it a little name and made a little, you know,
Yeah.
the Black Maternal Health Crisis.
Right.
But then they'll have conferences and then all the tickets get sold out to people that don't even look like us.
None.
You know,
None. I sat on
yeah.
the board, you know, sitting there, and you sit there, and you see every single last representative. You had majority men, and then you had other that were women representatives. But what is that if you're talking about maternal mortality for people of color?
Right.
If none of them are color.
Right.
Right. Exactly. And then none of them are out here actually doing the work. They don't really understand the impact of what's happening. They're not really making connections on a grassroots level with the people and understanding what the cause really is. The best voice for that is the doulas, the women that's out here. I hear so many stories. Like, I have to do detox baths often because the stories we just, you know what I mean, make you
Same
cry
here.
at night. You know, some of the stuff that you hear, how these women, like you just said, Tracy, or one of you just said, escape death in birth, you know, and that should not be the story.
That's the average story.
That's the average story in our
People of
community.
color.
Sadly, when you say 3 and 4, that's huge. That's really huge.
It's 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
So in
Right.
Atlanta, I think I just checked it. Georgia, we make up, I think, 27% of the birthing population. We make up 77% of the deaths for Georgia. So I can say that again. We're the minority for the state of Georgia,
Right.
and we make up the majority of the deaths.
And
in
so
Georgia.
that says a lot because the majority of us are in Metro Atlanta. And the areas with the highest maternal mortality rate is DeKalb County, right? Cobb County, Gwinnett, right? Fulton County, can't leave them out, and Clayton. Everywhere we are, we're transitioning from birth. And that's so unfortunate. And going back to something that you said too, Tracy, as far as these gaps that's in our whole medical model of care, it really was designed that way by obstetricians. Sadly enough, and not to take from my brothers, because we definitely need our brothers, but these weren't our brothers that was doing this, right? When they wanted to step in and take over midwifery, they intentionally removed the ideal of sex and they defeminized birth. How can you defeminize the most feminine process?
Dehumanized it
Right,
as
they
well.
dehumanized. Let's not even get to that, right? What they were doing, medical apartheid, they talk about that at length, at how, you know, they just was doing all these different tests and things
it's
on
not
black
just
women.
brothers, it's like white men. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
The
So they're not our
obstetricians
brothers.
in the beginning. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, but still, like, that's the history,
That's history,
of when they were killing white women and calling them witches and all of that.
Yeah,
It was,
that's the
Right.
you know what I
Foundation
mean?
of the structural system.
Those were midwives and herbalists.
Those are
Yes.
And the original midwives were people of color.
Of course.
So it's a shocker to see us at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to our health, and we used to be at the top of the line when it came to providing services for our health.
Right. I know it shocked me, Desiree, when Desiree also sits on the board of Georgia Birth Network.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. They,
Vice President.
you know, they have a little bit of a she story in the
So
Metro
let's do
Atlanta
some.
area.
Let's
But,
do some hot
you want to do
topics.
some hot topics?
Yeah.
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 Like, well, this is a hot topic right here.
I want to do some. I want to. Yeah,
Get
let's.
noisy.
Yeah, let's segue. Let's segue. Yeah. So, misconception about conception. We have a few topics, and in spirit, I just be feeling like a lot of times, it's people listening that just need to just hear those touched on.
Which one you feel?
What you want to talk
What
about?
you was talking about the business of it first of all.
Don't give me.
I know. That's what,
That's right here.
Yeah.
the business of birth.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, Ricky Lake made a documentary called "The Business of Being Born."
Right.
And it was, you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to see that if you're a birth worker, right? And so, you know, I really, really enjoyed that focus, you know, and that was a lot of what inspired more research for me when I was doing my research. I watched that. And so we're actually working on a documentary right now, Misconceptions About Conception. Yeah!
Yes.
All right,
soon.
and so, you know, but it's not focused on the melanin woman, you know what I mean? And so now, when you look at, like you talk about the gaps, you know, you talk about the gaps and things that are needed. Business is best when you're solving problems, when you find a way to solve problems. And both of you is like really touching on things that you know is needed. And so, what made you come in and create whatever organizations and whatever works you're doing? But you know, what is it when it comes to the business? Like, where is when it comes to Black women and children and families? And what is the gap when it comes to unnecessary medical interventions? And how we are treated, you know, when we go to these hospitals.
That's a loaded
That's all right. That's a loaded question. I mean, we have to break that question down into parts to answer that.
Let me start since I'm young, and because you the vet, way more, so you can come in and shut it all the way down. I can give you a couple of sentences. She can come and shut it all.
How about
the
we
way
lead
down.
with you, and I can add to.
Closer.
Okay, that.
These mugs just went through all of this to work out who gonna go first, and then they worked it out. Okay,
That's how you call it. In business.
That's like, girl, you go.
I think that I would just start off by saying our mentality, the mental support that we don't have, and the mental support that the Black community are trying to develop, aka we're trying to develop our culture with zero culture. And so we're starting from the grounds of slave mentality. A lot of times that I see, if I'm keeping it real with y'all, in the Black community. So they still got that process of, I need to listen to this doctor because it's the person that cares about me, because everybody in my house don't hear me. But when I go to this doctor office, whether they listen to me or not, it's somebody particularly just for me. No matter what type of service they're giving me, whether it's good or bad, I have somebody that's just for me. So I started off that way. But I'm going to go and pass it over.
Okay. Sharice, which part you want me to tackle first?
Just go on and get it. Just get in there.
So because you led with birth and business, and then you moved into, okay, I'm just going to take it all the way back. It's about the value system or the lack thereof. So when Plymouth Rock landed on us, we have to understand we came into this place being devalued. So that's the slave mentality. That is continuing to perpetuate us even in 2019. However, but when you begin to take it into how you raise your family, and then the money that you make, and if you're an entrepreneur, and one of the things that gets me about these Black women entrepreneur rates is that, let's talk to them 5 years from now. Let's talk to them 10 years from now. Are these businesses being sustained? Are they being patronized? Are they still in business? Yes, Black women are creating businesses at an astronomical rate, but then let's talk to them years later and see what's going on. Are their businesses growing? That's what matters. And there's a way to do business. There's a whole structure from employee to self-employed to entrepreneur to investor. You have to understand the quadrants and how that works. So, and I had to move myself through those quadrants. And I'm still moving myself through those quadrants. And you spoke also, you mentioned creating a niche or a niche. When you see a lack, stop looking for somebody else to fill that lack. And when I saw the lack of a real professional platform for Black birth workers to be found, I created one. We are created by a creator to create. No doubt. So with that being said, you have to embody that innovation, that level of creativity, and what you do is you get skills and you gain skills in business to apply it, so you can be sustainable, so you can open up other doors for people so they can go ahead and be uplifted, because that's one of the things that the National Black Doulas does. We uplift other women, we uplift other businesses, and then the result of that is that we grow. I know universe is gonna take care of me as long as I'm putting you on Front Street. Okay, this sister does that. I ain't worried about my blessing coming from her. That's not where it comes from. As long as I continue to do the work that I'm designed to do and put here on this earth to do, universe got my back. I ain't looking for her to have my back. Not in that regard. Not in that regard. So there's a lot, and when you begin to unlearn the value system that we've been taught in this country, then you begin to relearn what you need to how to value yourself. But the problem is you got to get around like-minded people. You got to get around like-minded people. And then if you are not around like-minded people, you be that, you embody that. And the beautiful thing about energy is that it's a vibration. It's a vibration. So what's going to happen is that vibration it's like a magnet. So then it's attracting what you're putting out there, and then that energy begins to recycle itself. And then you begin to uplift yourself, someone else, your money, your business. It's a whole process. But it's like removing ourselves from that slave mentality. It's like, no, I can't cuss, Lord. No, I'm worthy. I'm worthy, and because I'm worthy, and because I value myself, what's going to happen is I'm going to charge what I value, and my value, and I teach people, charge your value, charge what you're worth. Stop charging what you think somebody else is gonna. Stop charging what you think somebody else is going to pay. We can't. We don't know what people make. We can't make provisions for other people's pockets. We can't do that, because we're going to forever and always be trying to chase after, well, this is what I think they can pay. In the process, we're devaluing our worth. So, but I'm going to stand on my worth.
Right there. Stay right there, because you dove in the business piece so deep. I didn't expect that. But look. I like it, because then you start talking about valuing ourselves. And it goes hand in hand with how we allow ourselves to be treated by these medical professionals in these hospitals. When we go to the hospital, how we advocate for ourselves. That's the same
Right.
principle. Like valuing ourselves. Because we talk about that a lot on Misconceptions about conception.
doubt.
Advocacy, having the doula there, but also being informed and
Wanting
armed.
to be informed.
Yes.
Wanting
How
to
about that?
get education.
Exactly.
Wanting to be
and that's
to be
love
in
for
front of your
self. That's
birth.
loving yourself.
Right. That's
you know what I mean?
what-
And that's what we have to get back to. You can't make all the excuses in the world not to inform yourself. That don't make sense.
There we go.
Yeah, don't come to me
That's
saying I
self-hating.
didn't know.
Right.
Girl, Google will answer your question.
You know, I was just to piggyback and to say that, like, I used to get so much back because everybody's like, oh, your services are too expensive. They're not going to match the community that you're serving. And I said, well, if that person wanted to get a brand new pair of tennis shoes for their kids, or Christmas came around, or holidays came around, or
Right.
that car note for that BMW that sits inside that apartment
Right.
had to get paid, it would have been done. So why don't we have that same value of starting our family? That same
doubt,
value of
sis.
putting that education into our family. You know, I offer childbirth education classes, and I do them partially for free, just to get you to come in there. You know what I'm saying? To get a doula. You know what I'm saying? That portion of it, I feel like everybody should be open to some education, but you have to want it. And so a lot of the black doulas in our community,
People don't value what they don't pay for.
Right. Again,
Right.
don't value what they don't pay for. So I don't do my doula business, you know, for free, which a lot of the organizations are doing that, and especially to our women of color. So they're dogging us out. So we're
Right.
going into these hospitals. We're becoming these victims of abuse ourselves.
Right.
And then we're taking these other organizations that are telling us that you are to be silent from this abuse because you don't know if that's what that person wanted. They are reteaching us to become more society complacent, to become more of that good patient rather than you advocating for what you need. So the
Right.
value
You
again
better.
in the black
I'm
community
telling
is
you.
not, you know, so we have to start valuing
You better be a
ourselves.
renegade
you have
up in
to,
there.
You have to teach people
need
how to
to put you
treat you
out.
at the onset. And if my boundaries piss you off, I can't help you.
Yes.
Right.
If my price is not comfortable for you, you make provisions for what it is that you want. That is us as people. We make provisions for what it is that we
Yes.
want. And
Yes.
unfortunately, we've been taught in this country not to. Oh, maybe I should put this back on me. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep forgetting about you guys. Sorry. But unfortunately, we've been taught in this country not to invest in our health and wellness.
Exactly.
So of
Not
course,
to do mainstream, unless if it's holistic, don't invest in it. But if it's mainstream, you invest in that. You know,
Oh, because
that's what they teach you.
insurance is gonna pay for mainstream.
Right.
Holistic got to come out your pocket.
well, you have to also understand
Get what you pay
too.
for.
Western medicine is alternative medicine. That came here after.
Yeah.
Anything
Ooh, say
that's
that again.
after is alternative. That's
Yes.
that's a secondary choice. So when you invest in alternative, you're gonna get subpar treatment.
Right.
All right, we're gonna stop right there. We're gonna take a break. Y'all are listening to I Radio Misconceptions about Conception. Y'all tell people why it's important to support community radio and call 404-523-8989 right now, and join us in our raising funds during our fund drive.
It's incredibly important. So you can get information just like this. You can't get this on some other public radio stations, right? Nowhere. You getting this at 11:37 on
In
a
the
Friday.
morning. You
right?
got what? You got DJs like Ear Doctor on the
Yes.
ones and twos. Like what? Like where you gonna hear this kind of music,
quality.
this quality
Value.
information?
Right.
Like these sisters coming in here, these ain't no lightweights. These
Say that. Say that.
These are some
These some heavy
intelligent,
hitters.
beautiful, powerful beings that's coming forth with action in the community. That's like so vital. And
Right
you're getting this
now.
information. So 404-523-8989 is the number. Call and support WRFG during our fund drive. And we're going to take a quick break and come right back. Stay tuned.